Shoot. Hello guys. Hello everyone. Sorry, had network issues. But then if you watch the previous video, you get a lot of understand up to this point. So this is the part where the other video ended. Okay, so the network just went off. Okay, so let me see if I'll be able to start from somewhere and some okay. So if you watch the other video, you realize that I said that to find the short run supply curve for a perfect competition market, the condition is MC is equal to NP. And then we derived that from that video. We derived it from this condition that since the marginal cost is equal to the marginal revenue, the marginal revenue is equal to price. Then using logical reasoning, then marginal cost is equal to the price. Okay, I know that in finding supply curve or demand curve, we need price and quantity. So that is why this condition holds for only perfect competition markets, because for such a market, their price is fixed. They take the price from the market. Okay, they can't set their own price. What the market will give them is what they will take. So if the market gives them 5 cedi, they will take 5 cedi. Market increases to 7 cedi, then they will take the 7 cedi, and that's what they work with. So what they can do is to minimize their cost and produce more in order to make more revenue and more profits. Okay, so that's what they can do, but they can't do anything about the price. Okay, so we reached this point where I said that since the marginal cost curve is equal to P, it becomes the supply curve. Okay, supply curve for the firm at this place. But then we should also note that this part of the marginal cost, which is below the price, is not the one that will include use, because if the additional products produced or the additional goods you are producing is less than what you are making, then no firm will produce, because the firm's aim is to maximize profits. And then according to the law of supply, a firm will produce more only when the price is high, only when the price is more. That's kind of like incentive for the firm. Okay, and I've demonstrated in the other video. So now I reached the point where we've been able to find the supply curve from this point where QS, that's the supply function. Okay, sorry. So QS equal to 2P minus 1. But then if you just leave it like that, it means if I put 0 there, the firm can charge, let's say 1. But no, if the firm charges 1, or let's say 0.1, the firm might be in the losing end, or 0.2, the firm might be in the losing end. The firm will only be in a normal or a gaining end when the firm's marginal cost, okay, starts from the point where the average variable cost is at its minimum. So as I said earlier, average variable cost is just the cost per unit. So everyone, if you're producing 10 apples, 1 apple is costing this. But when you talk about marginal cost, it means when you produce additional 10 apples, what was the cost for all those 10 apples? That's the difference between the marginal cost and the average cost curve. So that's the reason why we use the marginal cost curve as the basis for a firm supply curve, because marginal cost curve is about additional units that we are going to produce, what we incur for them. If they are greater than the price if they are less than the price that we are getting, or they are equal to the price that we are getting, then it's good for us to produce, because a normal profit is also a profit for a firm. Okay, and the firm will only produce additional units, okay, when the price in the market is high. So they can't set their price, but if the demand and supply forces work in the market, and then there's shortage in the market and price increases, then they are motivated and enthused towards produce more additional units. That's why the supply curve from the minimum of the average variable cost curve above the minimum average variable cost curve, that part of the marginal cost become the firm's supply function or the supply curve. And then we're able to derive the supply function. But since we can't get a price below this point, we need to restrict the price to the average variable cost. So you know that at this point, the average variable cost is what is touching the price. Okay, so if the price is equal to or greater than the average variable cost, then the supply function can hold. So how do you find the average variable cost? So as I said earlier, it's total variable cost, right, divided by quantity. And then from this cost function, The total variable cost is what? The part that has the Q. So variable cost means it varies with output. So this 20 represent the fixed cost, okay, the fixed cost, and we don't need that, okay. So this becomes our average variable cost. But I want the minimum of the average variable cost. And then minimum is the least what part of the average variable cost. So what quantity can we produce? Because average variable cost is a function of quantity. So we are looking at quantity, okay, because it's a cost per unit of quantity. So you can't go and look at labor or capital. No, quantity. So what quantity can we produce that the average variable cost would be at its minimum? And it's zero. Someone will say that, why is it zero? I can use one, why not two? So let's look at this for mathematics. When we know that this diagram has been drawing, the P is the y-axis, right? And then the Q is the x-axis, okay? So that's the reason why we are able to have a linear function for the quantity supply curve, okay? Because it uses the y and then the x-axis, and then it's a straight line, okay? So let's say this is our graph book. And we know that our graph book, there's a line from this part, okay? Then we have from this part downwards, okay? And then we have a straight line in the middle like this, okay? Then we have a line here that we can say, okay, let's label this part as what? Our x-axis. So we label here as x, and we label here as y. And we know that this line and this line, they are parallel. This line, they are parallel. And parallel lines are equal. The distance between them is the same, or their length, everything. The parallel lines are what? Equal. So this line is the same as this x-axis line here, okay? And we know that when you are drawing a minimum curve or something, so let's say the average variable cost, we are drawing it here. So we are drawing like this, okay? So let's start here. Okay, so this becomes the minimum of the what? Average. Let me draw it all. So like this. So this becomes the minimum of average, because from that point, the average variable cost is rising. We know this is the x-axis. So this point is what? 0, 0, right? This point is 0. So there, the x-axis here is 0. So it can even be like this. So it might not touch the x-axis like the way it's touching here. It might even be like this. Okay, but it's still minimum here. And then here is the y-axis. So when you're tracing to the x-axis, so x will be a certain figure, right? X will be 0, y will be a certain figure. So average variable cost will be at its minimum when x, which is the quantity, is 0. So here our quantity represent the x-axis, and then the price represent the y-axis, okay? So if this point, which is the minimum of the average variable cost, the x will be 0 and y will be something, and we don't know why. This is the average variable cost, and that's what we are looking for. So that's the reason why at the minimum, quantity is what? 0. Of the minimum of the average variable cost, quantity is 0. So we put 0 in this function, okay? We put 0 in this function. So we have AVC of 0 because quantity is 0. And then AVC is a function of quantity. Okay. So we have 0.250, right? Okay, so this part, since this K will not be there, it's just 0.5, okay? So 0.25 Q, because this 0.25 Q square divided by Q, and this 0.5 Q divided by Q, so it's 0.25 Q plus 0.5, okay? Yes, so not 0.5 Q. Then we have plus what? 0.5. So our average variable costs, okay, at its minimum is what? 0.25. 0.5, sorry, 0.5. So at this part of the graph, okay, y is 0.25, and then x is 0, and you can trace it here, okay? So this is the y-axis, so this can come here as the y-axis, okay? And this is the x-axis, and this, they are parallel, so this can also trace. So here is 0k. Okay, so that's why we are using 0 as its minimum because of the graph. So when we draw like this, you might not see it, but then if you use like you trying to draw a graph, you realize that yes, it's true. When the average variable cost is at its minimum, when the quantity is 0, when x is 0, and x in our question is what quantity supplied. Okay, so our supply function, okay, will be complete when we say that the supply function, right? The supply function is equal to 2p minus 1, where what p is what greater than or equal to the average variable cost, right? Then we say that therefore hence QS is equal to 2p minus 1, where p is greater than or equal to what? 0.5. 0.5. So this will become your supply function. This is how you write the supply function. So this is the algebraic expression of the supply function. So if you've solved it graphically here with the points on it to show that here, so when it increases from the market, the pricing from the markets, the firm will be willing to produce more and more additional units and to be on the marginal cost like that. So this is the graphical and this is the what algebraic. We have to restrict the price, because if the price is below this part, the firm is not willing to produce, so it's not part of its supply function or the supply curve. So you need to restrict what's the price, okay? So that will be it. So if you want to try it out, you realize that if you put, let's say, a figure less than 0.5 in this function, okay, you see that let's use 0.4, you get a negative 0.2. It means negative means the firm is not producing, okay, firm is not producing, so that one is not bad. That's why we need to restrict the function towards being P being greater than or equal to 0.5 is the average as a minimum of the average variable cost, not the entire, so the minimum of the average variable cost. Okay, so I hope you understand this part. So let's see if we can rush through the second part. Okay, so the second part, which is B, says derive the short run supply schedule, which gives quantity supplied as a function of price. So this one I'm not going to do, but I'm just going to explain. Okay, so what will happen? Okay, so since they are saying draw a market schedule, okay, market schedule. So don't forget that this supply curve that we've gotten is for only one fair. When we read the question, it says, let me see. It says that what is the short run supply curve for each individual grower as each firm, and that is what we found. But then if you want to find a market supply curve or function or schedule, we need what the market supply function and not the individual supply function, because mind you, in the market itself, it is the entire firms in the market and the entire demand of customer that work together to determine the price. That's why the question gave us what the demand of the market. So we need to find the supply of the market. So what can we do? Since the firms are identical and they are producing the same thing, we just multiply the individual supply K by 50, because each firm has the same total cost function and they have the same total, they have the same supply function. So since they are 50, this is mathematics, you just multiply the you just multiply your supply function by 50, okay, multiply it by 50 and you'll be getting 2 times 50 will give you 100p minus 100p minus 100, right? Minus 100. True of us. Yeah, so this will become your market or supply, your market supply, your market supply, market supply. And then the price, okay, and so this becomes your market supply. So QS, when you multiply this by 100, you get this. So that's for that part. And then it said find the equilibrium price for a dozen roses in the market. So this one too, I'll not solve it. So equilibrium, it just equates this market demand in the question. You equate your market demand in the question. You equate this market demand in the question, and then the supply, market supply in the question. So with this, the B, the market supply schedule, it means that since we are saying price should start at 0.5, okay, so you just put 0.5 in the function we got. So if you are drawing a market schedule, is a table, okay. So they just want you to draw a table, but with your own figures. But since the price should be greater than or equal to 0.5, you need to start at that point, okay. You need to start at that point, okay. So this place will be 50, sorry, not 100, 50. Because 2 times 50 will be 100, 1 times 50 will be 50, sorry. So you put the 0.5 there, you start from 0.5, okay. Then you move on to, let's say 0.6, maybe 10, maybe 20, you put in it, and you join a table. So the table will be price and then what quantity, okay. That one I will not talk about that. So let's move to the next one. Maybe that's what I'll do then. So the equilibrium price and then the equilibrium quantity in the market, okay. So let's use a different so to find equilibrium price and quantity, we need the market demand and then the market supply, not individual supply and individual demand. You're working with the market itself. Okay, so you have to know the difference, and I've stated it earlier in that other video. So our market demand is equal to 2,400 minus. So let's check it out. 2,400 minus 50p. Minus 50p. So these are market demand. And then the market supply. Since you are finding equilibrium, you don't need the restriction here, okay. But you need it when you are finding your market schedule, your market supply schedule, and then when you are finding the function itself, you need to do the restriction that the price should be greater than or equal to the average variable cost, the minimum of the average variable cost. Else, if you don't restrict and the price is less than, it's not part of the firm's supply curve. I hope by now you understand that part. Okay. So we'll pick our supply. So our market supply was 100p, right, minus 50, right? So this was the supply and the market supply that we had. So now I want to find the equilibrium. So equilibrium is just quantity demanded. You just equate quantity demanded to quantities supplied, okay, in the market, not the firm. So it will be 2,400 minus 50p equal to 100 minus 50, 100p minus 50. So you group items, so have 2 is plus 50 equal to 100p plus 50p. Then we have 24550 give us 150p, and our p is equal to 2,450 divided by 150. Then we get p is equal to 16.33. That's our P. They will put it in any of the functions to get the what? The quantity, the equilibrium quantity, okay. So let's say we put it in the quantity demanded. Please, I'm coming, bear with me, my network. So we have our quantity demanded is equal to 2,400 minus 50, and then you put the equivalent price, which is what 16.33. Put it there. Then our Q as quantity demanded will be equal to, use your calculator, get 2,400 minus 50 times 16.33. You get 158. 1,583.5. We can do it 1,584. Okay, 84. So this will become our quantity demanded, the equilibrium quantity demanded, and the equilibrium price. So we found for that part of the question. So let's look at the last part of the question. So the last part of the question, it said, assuming there is free entry in and exit from this market, will there be an entry into or exit from this market in the long run? Explain your answer. So what this means is, to be able to answer this implication, you need to know the profit that the firm will make. For a firm to stay in a business or leave a particular business, it depends on whether the firm is making a profit or a loss. And then in economics, to some extent, some losses are good, some are not good. So we need to find the profits of this of the firm, okay, or in of the firm in this market. So how do we find profits? Profit is equal to total profit is equal to total revenue minus total cost. Okay, so let's find total revenue, which is what? Price times quantity. So total revenue is equal to the price in the market is 16.33 and the quantity the quantity being produced, which is 15, the quantity demanded in the market 1584. Okay, so total revenue equal to the 16.33 times 1584. So to be 25866.72. That's the total revenue. Now let's look for the total cost. So total cost function is equal to 0.25 Q squared plus 0.5 Q plus 20. Okay, so you just put Q there, you get 0.25 times Q is what? 1584 squared plus 0.5 bracket 1584 plus 20. So the total costs. So our total cost would be 0.251584. So you calculate it on your own. 1584 plus 20 get 628,076. 62807. That's what I had. Maybe you might get something different, but then it will be should be in the same air. So now our profits, which is total revenue minus total cost, will be the total revenue, which is 25,866.72 minus the total cost, which is 62,800. 628,876. So our profits would be equal to 25866. We're getting negative 602,209.28. So the firm will definitely make a loss, whether your figure is not the same as this or not. Maybe because I'm calculating fast, maybe my figures might be wrong, or maybe yours too is wrong, but then you will surely get a negative number. Okay, get a negative number, sure. So if your total cost, is greater than your total revenue, you are making a loss. So they're asking you that in this fair, would there be free entry or free exit in the fair? Would there be free entry or free exit in the fair? Okay, so you are making such a loss in the fair. Do you think the firm will be willing to stay in the business? Because it's making its fixed cost is 20. Okay, its fixed cost is 20, and then it's making this much loss. Okay, so the firm in the business, okay, the firms in the market will try and exit from there, because they are making such huge loss, and it's not lucrative to still stay in the business. It's not lucrative to still stay in the business. So most of the firm will exit from the business, will exit until the market, or until the profit in the market is a normal profit. Okay, so the exit from the firm until the profit in the market becomes normal. In the long run, or in the short run, they can decide that they can look at maybe the average cost, but in the long run, if they're making such losses, they continue to make such, they'll exit from the business, because they have such a long period to exit and look for other creative or businesses to enter into. So in the long run, this market, more firms will exit. So maybe the figures might not be, but the figures look strange or something. Doesn't matter. What matters is that you'll be getting a loss. Yes, you're getting a loss. Maybe to yours is strange, so we have to also check. Okay, so that's basically about combining the production and then the cost of a perfect competition market, So perfect competition market has this restrictions and all that, but with the monopoly and the monopoly is just the only firm in the market, so he has charge over the price. Okay, he can only control one. Either is controlling the output or is controlling the price. Okay, so usually they control the price because they produce goods that people need, but then they can't find substitute for it. So even if they increase the price to a certain limit or to a certain point, quantity will fall like very small, because in that market there's price inelasticity. Okay, and then the monopolistic competition market, that one, you have firms that produce similar goods. Okay, so let's say in the phone industry, okay, you have Samsung, iPhone, they are all phones, but they are in brands. So that's how the monopolistic competition had. There are many sellers, many buyers in the industry, but then there are differentiation. Okay, so in the perfect competition, there's no differentiation. It's little, the goods are homogeneous. Okay, but in the monopolistic competition, the goods are differentiated. You know that this is Tecno, you know that this is iPhone, this is this, but then they are all phones. Okay, so the firms are competing. So without one to, they can decide to what they can decide their own prices and all that, by to affect them in one way or the other. Okay, We have the oligopoly. That one they are not good, but then these markets, it has few firms. Okay, these few firms, they are concentrated in the market. It's like they have more power in the market. Okay, like KFC, like the few restaurants that they produce like some um special unique foods, or even the telecom industry in Ghana, like the Vodafone and the MTN and the Airtel Tigo. If another firm comes in, we have Millicom, but then most people don't even know Millicom. So these MTN, Vodafone, and Airtel, they are what? They have the few firms in the telecom industry, and they constitute oligopoly markets. They have their own issue, because with that one, you don't only think about yourself, you have to think about the other rivals, because the actions can affect or will affect what the reactions of the other firm. Okay, so what you do affects will determine what other firms should do. Okay, so I'll end this video here. What's the other one before you come to this? Okay, and I hope the good Lord help you understand. If you have any question, you can put it in the comment section. If you think the calculations I just did here is so strange or something, just pinpoint. Oh, I'll just say okay, so okay, fine, but then you still get a loss. Okay, what matters is the understanding. Okay, sure. But I know you get this. I know you get this. All right, so have a nice day. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe to the channel. Okay, the good Lord will surely bless you. It hasn't been easy, but then we are still moving. Have a nice day. Bye bye.